If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
With anti-ICE and anti-Trump protests planned across the country over the weekend, law enforcement and Republican leadership is getting ahead of any potential violence and rioting by issuing threats directly to the American people. Republicans are actively pushing the narrative that protesters in Los Angeles were violent, dangerous, and generally disruptive before the president unleashed the National Guard and US Marines on them. But meanwhile, Trump plans to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the US Army with a military parade in Washington, D.C. tomorrow, which just so happens to coincide with his birthday. How nice for him. However, in all 50 states and Washington, D.C., protests are being planned against Trump and his administration. There will be roughly 1,500 No Kings rallies across the country tomorrow, as well as several Kick Out the Clowns rallies. When asked about the planned rallies, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt did little to distinguish between a protester and a violent criminal.
I think that those images of foreign flags being waved by illegal criminals and by violent rioters in the face of cars blowing up and of flames in the city. I have photos of that here to show you. With this violence and destruction that occurred is an image that Governor Gavin Newsom owns.
But to get ahead of these protests, Republican officials and law enforcement agents are issuing threats. Trump himself had this to say: if there's any protester that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. I haven't even heard about a protest, but this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force. The following day, Leavitt did clarify Trump's statement, saying that Trump supports peaceful protests, even though in his statement, he never specified that only violent protesters would be met with very big force. But then we have statements like this one from Wayne Ivey, the sheriff from Brevard County, Florida. Take a look.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
All right, then we have Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who I had actually forgotten is still the governor of Florida, but he also is now encouraging violence against his own constituents.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
All right, well, meanwhile, here in Texas, Republican Governor Greg Abbott has announced that he has ordered the deployment of 5,000 Texas National Guard troops, as well as 2,000 state police to assist local law enforcement tomorrow, specifically in the Democratic cities where No Kings protests are planned. That's right here in Houston, also Dallas, Austin, San Antonio. Protests have already begun in Texas, where police use chemical irritants against protesters in Dallas and Austin. In San Antonio, near the Alamo, National Guard members were spotted at a protest Wednesday. So I know you guys are going to be covering the birthday parade tomorrow, Cenk, but here's a fun fact. $16 million is expected to be spent just on repairing the roads of Washington, D.C. after the military tanks tear up the roads. The tanks don't need to drive on these roads because all of this is so unnecessary, but Trump is insisting that this happens, knowing that the roads will need millions of dollars worth of repairs afterward. But what does he care? It's not his money. I don't know. Cenk, is this the way that you would expect law enforcement to serve and protect the American people?
No. So you're right. We're covering it. Young Turks on YouTube, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Me and Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's. Check out that military parade and Trump's birthday party, and you'll get a lot of good facts out of there too. Now on this story, how it started, freedom of speech is the most important right there. Is we have to let people say terrible things on Twitter. We have to freedom of speech. How it's going? You protest Trump, we'll put you graveyard dead. I think something got lost in the translation. Now I get it. He said if you cause violence or you point a gun, etc. But obviously he was doing a preemptive strike on his own citizens here, saying if you do anything slightly wrong in your protest of Donald Trump, we will use excessive and outrageous force against you. And then DeSantis doubles down with, no, you're not getting it. If you protest Trump or any Republicans in the state of Florida, we already passed a bill saying that drivers are allowed to kill you. So, I mean, if you're MAGA, you're like, oh yeah, of course, man, you strut your car, you gotta murder them, you run them over, man, right? How about if it was January 6th? And the January 6th crowd was around a car. Were they allowed to just run over all the MAGA guys? Who cares? Just run them all over. Who cares? They're just there, hey there, bro, what are you doing? And it's at the Capitol and they're breaking in and they're causing violence and they're attacking cops. Run them all over, right? Oh, two different standards for different people. Interesting. Michael.
Well, the thing I'm angriest about is the Brevard County sheriff who ended his sentence with "at." You can't do that. We can tell you where you can pick up your remains at. It's just not. That's not how you construct a sentence in English. That said, it is horrendous that the stand your ground that has been poisoning Florida for so long is extending now in a preemptive way to a problem that doesn't exist. This is a solution in search of a problem, absolutely. Catherine Levitt was saying that Gavin Newsom owns this. Well, if he owns this, he owns a massive peaceful rally at which, unfortunately, some cars were burnt. It's satirizing what happened here in California. It's satirizing what protest is. And as Cenk, you said so perfectly, not much more needs to be said except for that correction of his sentence structure. That the only thing that matters here is that this is free speech, and this is what free speech looks like. And they want to tell you what free speech looks like, and that implicitly is not free speech.
Yeah, Michael, and I think Gavin Newsom actually said something to that effect, that Trump is, again, just creating a problem, making it seem so much worse than it actually is, and then solving it. And he said something like, Trump really just wants to be a Marvel hero, and so he creates the problem first. He has to be the villain first,
right? And
then he gets to sweep in as the hero.
Yes, do you want to see him in a cape and a tight suit?
I don't. Okay. No part of me wants to. I mean, like maybe like a little bit of just like curiosity, but like, oh, I hate the mental image that's in my head right now, Michael.
I'm so sorry. You. Apologies.
Orange man, or maybe Orange Crush.
Orange Crush.
Okay.
Cenk's going to be so proud of that. That's annoying because he's going to talk about it a lot. You love it, don't you?
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.